Bradford City have today announced their 12th and final signing of the 2025 summer transfer window as centre-back Tom McIntyre has joined the club on a season-long loan from Championship side at Portsmouth FC. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 200 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below on this edition. Obviously, we've already had two videos come out today talking about the departures of Adam Wilson and Tyler Smith. Our deadline day has been concluded with this edition, and I'm really happy with the signing again. Our article does then read, McIntyre picked by the Chickens. Bradford City AFC is delighted to announce the signing of Tom McIntyre on a season-long loan from Sky Bet Championship side at Portsmouth. The 26-year-old central defender joins the club having played over 100 games in the second tier, adding valuable experience to the Bantams back line. A Scottish youth international, McIntyre achieved promotion last term with Charlton, adding to his CV following his 2023-24 third-tier title with Portsmouth. I'm not sure why we're not putting Portsmouth FC. Is it a different football club? McIntyre said, when Bradford City came calling, I knew it was something I wanted to be a part of. It is a massive club with great history and unbelievable fan base too. Again, you need these players that are going to come to Bradford City, not just say these type of things, but know that they're going to be able to handle that pressure and expectation, because we had so many players in League Two which just weren't able to do so. But with him playing for two big clubs in Charlton and in particular Portsmouth as well, you know that he's not going to feel pressurised by the big attendances that we get at home and away. He also says, I cannot wait to pull on the shirt and give my all for the club, up the Bantams. City boss Graham Alexander added, it is great to be able to bring Tom in and add to our strength and quality. He has championship experience, was involved in a promotion last season, and he's eager to get going. We are looking forward to helping him settle in and enjoy his football. His move is subject to the relevant EFL clearances. Now, no squad number has been announced there, and I would assume because he's not been signed before, I think you've got to sign him before 12 o'clock, then he won't be involved in the matchday squad tomorrow. But obviously with him being at Portsmouth, he won't be cup tied for any of the competitions, I want to say. We'll have to double check on the League Cup, but obviously he can definitely play in the EFL Trophy and the FA Cup this season. Now, over the last week or so, there has been talk about Bradford City potentially adding a further player to our squad, and it wasn't mandatory that we needed departures before that. And you're looking at the positions in the squad, could it maybe be another striker? But when you're looking at the options that we've got up there, we know Humphreys is 100% going to play as a striker. You don't really need one of them, with Powell also being able to play up there. Then you may be thinking left wing back. Obviously Lewis Richards has previously had an injury history. He's currently injured at this moment in time, so maybe a left wing back. But you've got Wright, Halliday, Nerfil, who can all compete with Ibu Toure in that position. But I wouldn't say centre half is necessarily something that we necessarily needed, but maybe the injury to Matt Pennington is more serious than we are currently letting on. But we've brought in a left-sided centre half, not a right-sided, so maybe Curtis Till, the injury to him. But there was rumours of this player coming in before the injury to Curtis Till, and obviously it didn't really look that serious on Saturday. So I wouldn't say it was mandatory that we needed to bring in another centre half, but you're never going to complain about having options in depth, because we saw last season the amount of injuries we got in that position. But again, you've got Halliday who can play centre half, Toure and Richards, they can both play centre half. So it wasn't needed necessarily, I wouldn't say, for Bradford City, but again, I'm never going to complain about a signing. It always makes for great content. If we have a look at Tom McIntyre's season last campaign, then as you can see, he played a decent amount of football in the Championship last season for Portsmouth. 12 appearances, 11 of those being starts, playing over 1,000 minutes. He failed to register a goal contribution, but had a 75% accurate pass rate, which I think is pretty solid. 25% of his long balls were accurate. He kept one clean sheet in those 11 starts, which again in the Championship doesn't look amazing, but it was Portsmouth's first season in there, and they had a lot of injury problems last campaign, so their defence was constantly chopping and changing. In terms of his individual defensive statistics though, he averaged 1.4 interceptions per game, 1.5 tackles per game, 3 balls recovered per game, and 4.4 clearances per game as well, which again all does look very solid. But you would expect again Portsmouth to be doing a lot more defending, with them being one of the lesser seen teams in terms of actual squads, not clubs but squads in the Championship last campaign. But in terms of his dual stats there, okay for a centre-half in the Championship. 59% of his ground duels were won and 57% of his aerial duels were won. That's not amazing. I'm not 100% sure how tall that he is, but I would certainly say he's much more of a ball player rather than a physical bruiser, which you look at our left centre-back options, Curtis Tilton, Kieran Kelly, neither of them are particularly ball players. They are more physical options. So I would see Tom McIntyre as coming in as that Romney Critchlow replacement potentially. But at 26 years of age, his contract runs out with Portsmouth at the end of this season. If he has successful spell, then I see no reason as to why we wouldn't look to then pick him up on a free transfer. But also, like if we have a look at his time with Charlton, where he obviously spent the second half of last season, he didn't play that much football, 10 appearances, 4 starts, no goal contributions for him, a slightly worse pass percentage, but obviously Charlton play a similar style of football to us than what Portsmouth do. Again, his long balls were a little bit less accurate, his defensive stats don't look particularly amazing, but again, he's not played that much football. His duel stats look much better, in particular his aerial duels, 75% win rate is very good, but in terms of minutes played for Charlton, just 345, so we can only really take that with a bit of a pinch of salt, to be honest. Away from McIntyre though, and assessing on our transfer window on the whole, we have made 12 very, very good signings. You can make an argument that all of them should be starting regularly for Bradford City. Obviously, you can only field 11, and we've not brought a goalkeeper in, for example, but hypothetically, all of these players that we have brought in could be starters for Bradford City, and that is a sign of a very, very good transfer window. Fair play to Bradford City. It really does feel like we've got our club back after so many years. It was, 5, 6, 7 years of hurt and pain under previous regimes. Now, since David Sharp's come in, since Graham Alexander's come in, it feels like we have massively turned a corner at Bradford City, and it's been a brilliant transfer window. Honestly, I don't think anybody could have asked for anything better, in honesty. We've got brilliant squad depth. We've got a lot of strength in depth as well. You'd look at the squad, which we'll do in a moment. There's no real stragglers in there. Every single player is more than good enough to be starting in League One, and Tom McIntyre just adds to that. It's nice that on transfer deadline day, we're not scrambling around to sign a Curtis Guthrie, a Theo Robinson, which we've done in years gone by. If the transfer window would have closed 2 weeks ago, even without the Nick Powell and Adornis, if it had closed about a month ago, I think we'd have all been still relatively happy with the transfer window. It's been a great start to the season, and even if in a month or two's time we get hit with a few big injuries and we go on a little bit of a dip, we've got to be realistic and remember survival this season is still a good season for Bradford City. Tom McIntyre though, he is a serial promotion winner. Who knows, could we go back to back? And for what will be probably the final time until January, let's have a look at Bradford City's 2025 at 26 squad, locked in for the next 4 months unless anything crazy does happen. You know, we might see the odd youngster go out on loan potentially, and obviously Hibertson might come back. There's the odd asterisk you can put in there, but for loan players this year, we're going to give them a orange highlight. Obviously, McIntyre is the first and only loan player that we have signed, which I'm quite happy about, in all honesty, because a lot of the League Two loans didn't really work out, and you'd still much rather develop your own players than another club's players. And with obviously McIntyre being out of contract with Portsmouth, if he has a good season, we can then pick him up on a free next summer. Because of his age, he will be available on a free. You don't need to pay the compensation because he'll be 26, 27 come at that time. But I'm very happy with the squad. I think we've got a lot of very good balance in there. There's no position where I'm thinking we're looking a little bit weak. We've got a lot of cover, multiple players who can play multiple different positions as well. I think David Sharp and the recruitment team have absolutely smashed it in this transfer window, and I'm not looking at a single player there and thinking you aren't going to play a part for Bradford City this season, like what I was before the last week or so with you Smiths, you Wilsons, maybe even your Clark Adors as well. There's the odd player on there that I think you might not play that much football this season, or you might not be that important to us, but it's still a very, very good squad. I think we've assembled a very good team. What a transfer window we have had. I don't think I could have asked for much better. It's almost a perfect transfer window. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, 200 likes, as I mentioned at the start of today's video, will be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in on this signing down in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on Bradford City announcing the signing of centre-back Tom McIntyre on a season-long loan from Championship side Portsmouth FC? Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for your support on the transfer videos over the summer. We'll be back in January unless anything crazy does get announced, but I'm pretty sure that will be the final announcement of transfer news until January. Have a great rest of your day though, and I'll see you all very soon for another one. It'll be tomorrow for the Grimsby Matchday vlog.